Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Aisha. For those of you guys who are new, if you're not new, thanks again for coming back. Just a little disclaimer here. You're gonna hear some noises in the back. That's my brother. Unfortunately, your girl lives with other people, so we can't be having silence. So first of all, I haven't done makeup in a hot minute. We're gonna do something a little crazy, but I just thought while I'm doing this, why not have you guys watch me do this and I can tell you stories, very unfortunate stories about my dating life, just in order of situations that I've been in. See you right, makes me high. What month was it? March? Yeah, March. This is like right when the quarantine started.
Oh, this is really fucking ugly.
Actually, now that I think about this goes back to February, not March, February. So I matched with this guy. I don't think I should say names because I don't really know why, because I honestly don't even care if anyone finds out who these people are, because you know what? They're pieces of shit anyways. I matched with this guy in February. We matched on Tinder, and I don't know, like he messaged me and was basically like, oh, let me know when you're free, which I usually don't like when I match with guys, because I like to get a sense of like what they're like over messages before I actually waste my time meeting them. Then the whole quarantine started and somehow we ended up messaging on Snapchat. He was all like, oh, you should come over so we could have wine and we can paint, and I'm like, that sounds like bad news. I'm like, no, actually, like I'm not meeting up with anybody right now, like, you know, I'm trying to stay safe during this pandemic. So I'm like, no, that's gonna be a no for me. He's like, oh, okay, that's cool, I understand, like we could have a FaceTime day. And even though we hadn't met yet, but like we were literally messaging every day throughout the day. So, and all this communication was through Snapchat. So that's where I made my mistake right there. I let it go on so long through Snapchat. One day I'm like, oh, do you have Instagram? And I already knew that he did, but you know, me being the sneaky Scorpio that I am, I was like, let me see if he's honest. He's like, yeah, I do, this is my Instagram. I'm like, okay. So I go and follow him, whatever. His Instagram looks like a normal guy's Instagram, barely posts. One day I get a new follow on Instagram and I'm like, who is this person? I went to go check to see who this person was that followed me, and I saw the pictures of this girl that I did not know. So I was like, okay, I'm not following her back because I don't know who she is, right? But I keep scrolling for some reason, and I scroll down, and what do I see? I see pictures of her and the guy that I'm talking to through Snapchat together. I'm at this point, I'm bamboozled. Like I'm literally receiving snaps from him as I'm seeing this. I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, should I ask him or should I ask her? Because at the end of the day, like he could lie about it, but at the end of the day, like she could lie about it too. Me being the person that I am, like, you know what, I'm gonna see both sides. I'm gonna see both sides of the story and see what the reality is. So I go ahead and send him a snap replying, and I'm like, so when were you gonna tell me you had a girlfriend? He snaps back and is like, what's up? Like totally ignoring my question. Even though that happened, like I still messaged her and was like, hey, like I just want to know if you're with Gerardo, if that's like still a thing. Like, oh shit, I said his name. I'm not for this fuckery. Like I am not a homewrecker. Like that's not me at all. So please let me know. So she messages me back and is like, what? I'm so confused. What are you talking about? Yeah, I'm with him. Well, if this girl didn't know that like I was talking to her boyfriend, like why would she have followed me? Like that was the first thing that went through my mind. Like, did she see my name pop up on his phone or something? Like, why would she follow me? But then at the same time, I'm like, why would she follow me if my profile is public? Like, you don't need to follow me to see my stuff. I called this girl and she's like, oh, I'm on my way right now to go confront him, blah blah blah. Mind you, she lives like a whole bridge away from this guy. So she's like talking and talking and talking, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? This girl's like, yeah, I've been with Gerardo. We've been official since February. And I'm just like, bruh, are you serious? I matched with him in February. Out of curiosity, I'm like, oh, how did you meet him? And she's like, oh, we met off Tinder. And I'm like, of course. And so she's all like, oh, did you ask him if he had a girlfriend? And I was like, no, I did not ask him if he had a girlfriend, but I also didn't feel the need to, because I feel like if a guy has a girlfriend, he shouldn't be on Tinder. Am I right or am I right? I could practically hear her hyperventilating on the phone. She's like freaking out about what her boyfriend is doing. I'm just sitting here like shook, like, of course this is happening to me. But she's like asking me like, oh, like, what do you guys talk about? Have you guys ever hooked up? And I'm like, girl, we haven't done anything. I've never even met him. And so I told her, I was like, you know, this is what we talk about. And she's like, what? Like, he doesn't even talk about those things with me, like, and I'm his girlfriend. And in my head, I'm just thinking like, girl, like, he doesn't talk to you about what he has for lunch. And she's like, oh, do you have feelings for my boyfriend? And I'm like, no, I don't even know him. And she's like, can you do me a favor and can you just not talk to my boyfriend from here on out? And I'm like, oh, hell no! You really think that I want to continue to talk to your boyfriend when I just found out that he has a girlfriend? In my head, I'm laughing and I'm like, I don't know why she would have to ask for that. I'm like, girl, you don't gotta worry about me. Look, I don't care about him like that. Like, but just so you know, I'm gonna let you know, girl to girl, his Tinder is still active. So even though I'm not talking to him, there might be someone else who's talking to him. And so she's like, what should I do? And I'm like, I can't tell you what to do, girl. You gotta make your own decision. But I told her if it was me, I would leave him. She's like, oh, I just got to his house. Like, I'll call you later to keep you updated, even though you don't care. Oh, I left out a part where his girlfriend was like, oh, do you remember what he did on Saturday night? I'm like, I don't know what he did on Saturday night. I don't remember, you know, like, I barely remember what I did on Saturday night. I'm like, I don't know. I remember that he went to someone's birthday, one of his family members or something. And she's like, oh no, that was on Sunday. And I know because I was there. And he was snapping me while he was there, while he was sitting with you, like, what? When I was talking to her that night where we found out, she was like, you know, I'm gonna be really honest with you, I didn't follow you to find out this stuff about him. Like, I wasn't snooping. I had no idea that I was gonna find this out. The only reason I followed you was because of your makeup. I found you on my Explore page, and I'm like, joking. She's all like, yeah, I just got to his house. I'll let you know, even though you don't care. Mind you, at this point, it's like 11 p.m. I have to work the next day. So I'm like getting ready to go to bed, you know, peacefully, me knowing like that I just fucking exposed the shit out of a dumbass guy. Like, I don't know if she expects to call me once that's all over. Like, I don't know. And so I just sent her a text and I was like, hey, like, I know you said you wanted to let me know what would happen. I don't know if you plan on calling me, but like, I gotta work tomorrow, so I'll send you a text tomorrow to see how you're doing. You know, me just being the nice girl that I am. I go to sleep, I wake up the next morning, and when I wake up, I have a text from her, and she said something along the lines of, we talked it out, we're still together, please don't talk to my boyfriend anymore. And I'm like, I'm just reading this and I'm so shook. For my next situation that I was in, this happened like 2 months later. I was on Snapchat and I opened a story from this guy that I followed that I did not know I still followed. And so this guy I met when I think I was 17 at the time. Mind you, I'm gonna be 25 this year, so it was like a while ago. I met this guy at my cousin's quince, so I go get something to drink with him. And mind you, during this time I did have a boyfriend. He asked me for my number and I said no because I had a boyfriend. You can follow me on Instagram if you want, but I won't give you my number. And so he follows me on Instagram, immediately sends me a message like, oh, it was nice meeting you, it was nice talking to you. We end up talking so much on Instagram that I end up giving him my number anyways. And so we start FaceTiming regularly. And like when we FaceTime, it was just as friends. Like I didn't treat him as anything more than a friend. He ended up getting a girlfriend, which was fine because I obviously had a boyfriend. And the girlfriend didn't like the friendship that we had, so she made him delete me on everything. But then this one day in June, I opened one of his snaps on his story, not knowing that I still followed him. And when I opened it, he saw that I opened it, so he immediately adds me back. And it's like,
oh, I didn't know you still followed me. Wow, like I can't believe that I found you. You're the one that got away.
and I'm just like,
why you always lying?
he calls me, tells me his whole life story about having gone to jail and his life was a mess. He was a freaking crackhead and alcoholic, like all this crazy stuff that I would not go for. He started talking about how he wanted to turn his life around, so he enlisted in the army, and that's where he was at right now, and that he was currently stationed in South Korea. And I'm just like, oh, okay, well, that's good for you. Like, I'm glad you're doing something with yourself and not just rotting away. Start like talking every day, like calling me like 2-3 times a day, like asking me how my day was, like what I had for lunch. This just like went on for a month. As this is going on, like he's starting to say stuff like, oh, like I love you and I want to start something with you. I can't wait to be back so that I can spend time with you. I can spend half the time with you, half the time with my family. I've never dated someone in the army before, and I'd never planned on dating anyone in the army, but like because I already knew him, I was just like, okay, maybe this might be okay. Like, because normally I don't trust army people, but fuck it, let's just give it a shot because my dating life sucks anyways. And so one night I was going to bed. It was like 11, I think, and I hadn't gotten a call from him yet. So I just told him, I was like, I'm tired, I have to work tomorrow, so I'm gonna go to sleep. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And so he's like, okay, good night, like sleep tight, like all that stuff. All of a sudden I get a call from him at 1 in the morning, and I'm like, why would he be calling me right now if I already told him that I was going to bed? And I'm like, hey, what's up? And he's all like, you might want to wake up for this. And he's like, well, you remember my crazy ex-girlfriend that I told you about that cheated on me with my friend in front of me? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, she's blackmailing me right now. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, okay, well, here's the thing. I've been talking to her this whole time, but it's nothing serious. She's just blackmailing me because of some money that she sent me. And she told me that she was gonna tell you that we were still talking. I tell him, I'm like, if that was the case, why did it take you until right now that she's threatening to tell me about you guys for you to tell me? I don't understand. He's like, yeah, I just didn't feel the need to tell you because it wasn't anything serious, and because I didn't think things were gonna get serious between you and me. And I mean, technically I'm not with you and I'm not with her, so I could date whoever I want. Did you really just say that after you've been telling me that you love me for I don't know how long, and like that you can't wait to come back to me and blah 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 and all this BS? And I'm just like quiet. I'm just like listening to what he's saying because I don't even know how to respond at this point. He's all like quiet, waiting for me to respond, and I'm like, I don't know what to say to you right now. Like, I'm shocked. I don't know what to say. I think I need a moment to like take all this in. So I hang up and I go on my Instagram just to see if that girl had already sent me something. And so she sends me something that's like, hey, like I just want to message you girl to girl that Ben has been talking to me this whole time, and we actually hooked up like 2 weeks ago. And I was like, of course. And she started sending me screenshots from literally just a few days before where he's like, I love you baby, can't wait to see you. Mind you, she's also in the army, and he spent this whole time talking about how he didn't like army girls. She's like, feel free to call me and I can explain everything. So I did call her, and she like explained like they were together a year ago, and that they met in training, and then they both came to Korea. She saw me on his Instagram and has been looking at my Instagram since, and realized that like he was talking to me, and decided that she would tell me, which I am so happy that she did. She saved me a whole bunch of time. So at that point I was like, okay, this is done. This is done. This is over with. Like 2 days later, he messages me, or like he starts trying to call me. He calls me like 3 times. I'm like, you got 3 minutes? Like, I'm on my lunch and that's all I have left. So that's what you have, make it quick. So he starts saying like, I'm
sorry, like, I didn't mean to hurt you, and I didn't think that things would get so serious between us, but like, everyone here knew that I was falling for you, blah, blah, blah.
And I'm like,
okay, well, thanks for the apology. Doesn't change anything. Bye!
and then y'all probably saw it the other day. I made a TikTok about him just as a joke. Like, and guess who was the first person to respond to it? Him. I have one more story to tell. I matched with this guy who seemed alright. Like, he seemed like a cool guy. He was like, oh, I know this view, like we could go walk. And he was like, and I enjoy making smoothies, so I'm happy to make you a smoothie. I have a menu that you can choose from. I told him, I was like, you know, me being a girl, like I hope you understand that I have to be very careful, so I'm not gonna be able to take your smoothie. I would feel more comfortable if we bought a smoothie. We go to Jamba Juice, get the smoothie, and then we go to the spot where we're gonna walk. I was interested in the guy just based off of like the conversation, and I had planned on seeing the guy again. But then at some point, so he's like, oh, let's go get the car and drive it right here, and we could just sit and like look at the water and just talk. And I'm like, okay, sounds good to me. And he asked me like, what's my favorite type of music? And so I tell him that I enjoy reggaeton, and we keep talking. Everything's fine, everything's cool. And all of a sudden he like grabs my hand, but it's like really sudden. It's like he's not even like slowly easing into it or anything. He grabs my hand. I'm so confused. I probably made like a weird ass face, honestly. And he was like,
I'm sorry, I need to hold your hand because I'm really turned on.
and I'm like, did he really just say that? This guy's all holding my hand and stuff, and we're sitting in the car still, chilling, still talking. I'm trying to take away the awkwardness by continuing to talk, and all of a sudden I just like blink, and when I reopen my eyes, he's like hovered over me, literally kissing me. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, get back. And I'm like, okay, I think that's enough. And he is like,
Oh, sorry, I really needed to kiss you because I'm really turned on right now.
and I'm like,
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
That's not my problem.
and so we go back to just talking, and then he does it again, and I do the same thing again. I don't know how to get out of this situation, and I'm just like,
I have to work tomorrow, so I can't be out super late. I think I should go. And I really gotta use the bathroom.
and he's like,
Okay, I need to use the bathroom too, so yeah, if I see you,
I don't think I ever plan on seeing this person ever again. Okay, let me go pick out some lashes and maybe a lip, and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is the final look. This is in collaboration with another artist. I think her username is Rachel Cox MUA, but I will go ahead and let you guys know. I'll just pop it up right here somewhere. So if you thought that your dating life was sad, just remember these 3 stories all happened within this year in 2020. My dating life freaking sucks, but you know what, that's okay. I don't mind being single. If you guys like this video, make sure to go ahead and give it a thumbs up, like it up, subscribe to my channel before you go, follow all my social media pages. My Instagram and TikTok are Aisha Galdema, it's my first and my last name, and my Snapchat is Aisha G, ISHAAG, and my Twitter is Aisha19 with 3 A's, ISHAAA19. And yeah, go ahead and leave me a comment if you had any thoughts on the fuckery that I go through. Anyways, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.